Hey everyone, today I'll be talking about the Xteink X4. I talked a little bit about it in my previous video, which was a what's in my bag video, but figured I'd do a video dedicated to it since people seem to be really interested in these devices. So I got this e-reader during the Prime Day deals for $55 US, which I think is a steal. So this X4 e-reader is made by XTE Inc., which I believe is a Hong Kong company. And their philosophy was to create e-readers that are pocket-sized and made for reading anywhere. These are MagSafe compatible. They don't have any subscriptions. They don't have a store on it. The idea is to clip it magnetically onto the back of your phone, and instead of doom scrolling, just get to reading. So they first released this X4, which is a 4.3-inch screen device. The more recent one is the X3, which is a 3.7-inch screen device. The X3 seems to have taken the internet by storm. The main differences between the two is obviously the size and the weight. The X3 also has NFC, which I believe is more targeted to their Hong Kong audience than other regions, as we can't really do anything with it yet. The X3 has I think it's a 259 ppi, while this X4 has a 219 ppi. And they also charge differently. So the X4 charges via USB-C cable, as I believe all devices should, but the X3 for some reason charges with a magnetic pogo pin. I don't know, maybe to make the device thinner. Anyway, I chose the X4 over the X3 because of the size and that it charges via USB-C. I don't want to have to lug around another charger. I know these batteries last for weeks, so you probably don't have to lug it around in your purse, but my lightning port charger days are finally over. I just don't want another charger. And then lastly, these are not rated to be dust or waterproof. Anyway, I currently have it housed in a case I found on Amazon, which I will link in the description below. I watched a lot of YouTube videos on these devices before purchasing. I am a gadget girl through and through and love me some tech. Did I need yet another e-reader? Heck no. But the way I justified it to myself was to have a small portable e-reader to help me get through my ginormous backlog of ebooks that I've purchased over the years. My first e-reader was a Nook from Barnes & Noble. I purchased so many ebooks on that device that I just never got around to reading. So I thought that I could use this device for those, I don't know, random 5-10 minutes where I'm waiting in line or waiting at the doctor's office just to get through my backlog of ebooks. It's super portable, super easy to read on. So this e-reader has physical buttons. There's no touchscreen. It has no front light, so you can't read it in the dark. But for the purposes I stated, it works just fine. I also have the Kindle ColorSoft Signature Edition, Kobo Libra Color, Supernote Nomad, and the Kindle ColorSoft Scribe for size comparisons. So let me put it next to them. So you can see the Kindle ColorSoft, Kobo Libra Color, Supernote Nomad, Kindle ColorSoft Scribe. This is itty bitty. So let's take a closer look at the device. The cover doesn't awaken the e-reader magnetically. You still have to turn it on manually. The magnet on the cover is pretty strong. I don't see it falling off easily. And with the cover, it will not stick to the back of your phone with MagSafe. So I have an iPhone 16 Pro Max. It's not sticking. By itself, however, with an iPhone Pro Max, this is how it sticks. It covers the camera. So I think that's why a lot of people have gravitated towards the X3, because I think it's smaller, so it can stick below the camera and it's less intrusive. But on an iPhone 16 Pro Max, this is how it sticks with MagSafe. It covers the camera. So let me turn on this device. I currently have the cover screen to show the current book I'm reading, which is The Well of Lost Plots by Jasper Fforde. So this is part of the Thursday Next series, which is one of my favorite series. The main character, Thursday Next, is one of my favorite characters of all time. Anytime I have to create an account for something, I use Thursday Next as my username. I want to be able to add more cover screens to this e-reader. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. As I mentioned before, I watched a ton of YouTube videos on these devices. I did install CrossPoint onto this device, which was basically everyone's recommendation. CrossPoint is a community developed software instead of using the stock software that XTE Inc. Developed for this, which supposedly sucks. So the text formatting from EPUB files messes up pretty easily, and it's kind of hard to read a lot of your books. CrossPoint was super easy to install. As soon as I unboxed this device, I downloaded CrossPoint, and it literally took me like 2 to 3 minutes. I'll link the website with the software below in the description if you're interested. So on the CrossPoint homepage, it shows your current book and the battery percent at the top right. You can browse your files, and you can see my ginormous backlog of books I have with the side scroller, just how long this list is. Obviously not my Kindle books because Amazon sucks and won't let you download your ebooks. Next, it shows your recent books, and then there is file transfer, which I haven't used. CrossPoint comes with an app where you can transfer ebooks wirelessly. This e-reader comes with a 16 gig micro SD card. So I just popped my SD card into my computer, dropped all my EPUB files into it, and this recognized all of my EPUB files. This e-reader, like I said, comes with a 16 gig micro SD card, but the box says 32 gig. I think originally they shipped it with 32 gig SD card, but given how expensive SD cards have become, they downgraded, I think. They just never got around to updating the box for some reason. So anyway, I just loaded up the SD card with my EPUB files very easily. So let's open up the book so you can see what the text looks like. This is currently on the medium font. I prefer the small font, so I'll change that later and show you what that looks like. I have no clue what the font name is. I'll show you that in the settings later. I haven't really messed too much with the settings. It looks like there are just 2 buttons on the front, but it's actually 4. One is to go left and right or up and down depending on the menu you're on. The other is to select and go back. The buttons on the side go up and down, but they also go left and right while you're reading. So left, right, left, right. There's also a really cool setting within the CrossPoint software where you can change the power button. So if you do a short press of the power button, you can have it skip to the next page. Just the way that I hold the e-reader, my thumb naturally rests on the power button, so I find that really easy to do, to just skip to the next page using the power button. So let's go to the settings. Here's where you can change what your sleep screen is. I have it set to cover. You can do cover, you can do none. You can do cover and custom. Custom is any cover screens that you manually add to the e-reader, and it'll just shuffle through them. Quick resume, I think, just takes you straight to the book when you power on the device. Dark is just the CrossPoint logo on a dark screen. Light is the same thing, CrossPoint logo on a light screen. And then custom is just the custom screensavers that you add to the e-reader. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. I've seen some really cool cover screens that people have been using that I want to get. Another thing to note is hide battery percent. I have it set to never. That's another reason why people recommend CrossPoint. Under the stock software that XTE Inc. has for this e-reader, it does not show the battery percent. For the X3, it does for some reason, but just not on the X4. Okay, under Reader, you can change the font. So I guess I'm using the Noto Serif font. I know you can download additional fonts if you want. I have it set to medium, but I'm going to go ahead and change it to small, which is what I prefer. And then I'll show you what that looks like. So this is my preferred font. I can read this pretty easily. You can also change the line spacing, screen margin, paragraph alignment, whether to use hyphenation or not. Reading orientation, you can set it to landscape if you'd like. I prefer portrait. Controls is where I set the power button to turn the page with a short click. So this is setting down here. Long pressing the power button turns it on and off. So you can set the short press to do the page turn. And then system is where you can set a sleep timer and then also check for system updates. They're constantly updating CrossPoint with features, so I recommend checking for system updates often. So this is the X4. I've really enjoyed using it so far, and for $55, it's an absolute steal. I just checked Amazon and it's listed as currently unavailable. It must have sold out during the Prime Day deals. On the XTE Inc. site, it's selling for $69, which is still really cheap for an e-reader. However, I've read about issues ordering from their website, so I'd recommend ordering from Amazon when it comes back in stock. That way, if you have an issue, you can easily return or exchange. There is an X4 Pro being released sometime in July. It will have a touchscreen. It will no longer have these front buttons, but will have side buttons to turn pages. It will have a front light so you can read at night, but it will charge via magnetic pogo pin. So it's like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. I honestly like having the buttons and no touchscreen. Given the small form factor, I feel like I could accidentally turn pages all the time. Maybe they'll have a setting where you can turn off the touchscreen while you're reading, but I'm happy with this purchase. I'm not going to buy the X4 Pro when it comes out. I got enough e-readers as it is, and you can see. And I use each for different purposes. I can make a video comparing them all if anyone's interested. But anyway, this is the X4. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.